Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Episode 5 of Hawkeye is here, and oh my god, that ending was insane. So this is my spoiler review of episode 5 of Hawkeye. So Hawkeye was a show I was really looking forward to, but the first 2 episodes disappointed me. If you want to check out my review for the first 2 episodes, if you haven't seen it yet, check out the video right up there, and I'll add a card at the end screen so that way you could see it after this one if you want to watch it that way. But I was disappointed by the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. So I was hoping that going into episode 3, 4, 5, and 6, the final 4 episodes, I was hoping that the show would get better as it goes along, and of course it did. I really enjoyed episodes 3 and 4. So I'm going to share my quick thoughts on those before I get started talking about my 5th episode. But before I do that, let me know down in the comments, what did you think of the 5th episode of Hawkeye, and what do you think of this show so far? What are your theories and predictions for the finale? I'd love to know your thoughts. With that said, let's get started talking about the 3rd and 4th episode, just my quick thoughts on them. And I really liked these 2 episodes, especially the 3rd one. I loved the 3rd episode. I thought it was really good, and it was a huge improvement over the first 2. First off, I really liked Echo. I really liked the way they gave her some backstory, and I really enjoyed that. Now, I still don't think she's interesting enough to have her own series, which they announced a while ago, but I do think that they're setting something up, and hopefully in the finale they do something interesting with her character, so that way I could see myself like watching a show with her as the main character. Of course, in the flashbacks, people were speculating that the uncle was Kingpin and all that stuff. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. Oh my god, I'm so excited to talk about that. That was probably my favorite moment of the entire series. Even though it was only like a few seconds, I just really loved it. Anyway, I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself, but yeah, I did really like them setting that up, and then people speculating just got me really excited for episode 5. Those 2 episodes also had a lot of really cool action sequences. I really liked the one where Clint is escaping from the Tracksuit Mafia, and he fights all of them, and then there's a chase sequence with a bunch of trick arrows. That was all really cool. And then at the end of episode 4, there's an action scene with Kate, Clint, a mysterious person, which I'll talk about soon, and Echo, which I also thought was a really cool fight scene. I think they did a really good job in these 2 episodes of also fleshing out the relationship between Kate and Clint, and we really see that Kate still looks up to Clint, and like I love that relationship. And when Clint talks to her, he talks to her as if someone as kind of like a father figure, but not exactly. But yeah, I really enjoy the way that their relationship develops, and especially when they're talking in a few sequences. I loved the scene where Kate helps Clint talk to his son because he doesn't have his hearing aid. I think that was a really good scene. And the scene in episode 4 where they're having a small Christmas party just by themselves, I thought that was a really fun scene, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think they did a really good job of fleshing out that relationship. And when they're talking about Natasha and how he became Ronin and stuff, I just really loved it, and I think they did a great job of adding the emotion to their relationship as well. The show also sets up a plotline with the watch that they mentioned in the first episode. I honestly didn't think this was a big deal at first, but in episodes 3 and 4 they mention it a lot, and apparently it has something to do with Clint's wife. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm interested to see where that goes in the finale. So hopefully they are able to settle that. And of course that watch comes into play in the final action scene at the end of episode 4, where we see Clint and Kate try to find it, and then Echo shows up. There's a great fight scene, and then the mysterious person shows up, and a lot of people thought this was Yelena after seeing her in the trailers. I wasn't 100% sure, but apparently the comic outfit was similar to this one. So when I was watching the episode, I thought it could be Yelena, but I wasn't 100% sure. But then of course they revealed her face, and it was Yelena, and she was one of the best parts of Black Widow in my opinion. So seeing her here, in my opinion, was just great. A couple of things I want to talk about is I really liked Jack and Kate's mom a lot more in these 2 episodes. They felt a lot more like lively characters, and I really enjoyed their relationship as well. It made a lot of sense why Jack was just not a bad guy, or maybe he is, who knows. But he really felt like a nice person in these scenes that he had in these 2 episodes. And Kate's mom, she actually genuinely cared about Kate, and I really liked that as well. And she just didn't feel like a generic person that she did in the first 2 episodes. The LARPers also came back in these 2 episodes. I think it was the 4th one actually. And I actually liked that because I thought it was kind of pointless in the second episode when they were in it, but now that they showed up and they actually kind of have a purpose, I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. Alright, so that is all I want to talk about as far as the third and fourth episode goes. Now let's talk about the episode that just came out, episode 5. And I was really excited for this one because some of the people that worked on it said that this episode is going to break the internet. So I was really excited to see what that was going to be about. Is it going to be Kingpin? Is it going to be something else? Are they going to do a huge reveal? Maybe Spider-Man shows up out of nowhere? Who knows? It could have been anything. So I was really excited to check it out. And I saw it, and I have to say, it's either this one or episode 3. One of those two is my favorite episode. I really love these two episodes. And particularly this one, I just really enjoyed what they did with it. So this episode starts off with a flashback of Yelena after what happened in Black Widow. Basically, she's trying to free all the Black Widow agents that were still brainwashed. And she comes across one that actually wasn't brainwashed and she was actually a normal person. And I think that was great. It just felt like you kind of see a little bit of what Yelena was doing at the time, because you can't have an hour worth of Yelena freaking Black Widows. I think that'll just be a little repetitive. So I really liked that they just gave us a little bit of a flashback to see what she was doing in that time. And then basically we see the snap through Yelena's perspective. What happens is she gets snapped away and she comes back right away. To her, it was like it just happened in a second or 2 seconds and everything around her changed. But for us, it was 5 years. So I just thought it was a really cool way to show it. And especially when I saw it happen, I was like, that was just really well done. It was really cool. It was shot really well. The visuals were really great. And when we see it, it actually feels scary. So I loved that. Anyway, once she comes back, she wants to go look for Nat, but of course, she died. And as we see at the end of Black Widow in the post-credit scene, she's going after Hawkeye because she thinks that Hawkeye killed Nat. After that, we basically see Kate. She's going back home because Hawkeye told her to leave because a Black Widow showed up, and that's not a place for a kid to be. So Kate goes to her house, talks to her mom for a little bit, and then her mom just kind of like gives her more motivation, I guess, and tells her to go to her apartment and get her stuff. And this was just a really nice interaction. I think like it just showed their relationship really well. And Kate's mom is up to something. We know that as we see in this episode, but their relationship still feels strong. She still cares about her daughter. And that's what I really like with what they're doing in this show. The character relationships are just really great, and there's a lot of great emotional moments as well. So Kate goes to her apartment and to get her stuff back, and then Yelena is there. Yelena happens to be there. She makes something, she makes some food, and then they eat together and talk about stuff. And I think this was just a really fun interaction because Yelena is probably the most fun part about Black Widow, and Kate is the most fun part of Hawkeye. And seeing both of them interact was just funny, and it was really enjoyable for me. Yelena tells Kate that she thinks Hawkeye killed Black Widow, but he didn't, and that's what Kate and her talk about for a little bit. But Yelena doesn't listen. Yelena just thinks that she has to kill Clint. And this is just a really interesting conversation to me because the audience knows that Clint did not kill Natasha. He was actually trying to save her. She sacrificed her own life for the Soul Stone. So to me, this was a weird conversation because I don't know. I feel like it could have just been solved. It's a pretty easy problem to solve because Yelena, she just doesn't know exactly what happened. That's the problem here. So I don't know. I'm not sure how this is going to go in the finale. I don't know if she's going to show up and talk to Clint or something. I hope that they solve it in a meaningful way that makes sense. I don't want them to go too over the top with it. But if they do a good job, then I'll enjoy it. Anyway, I think this conversation did go on a little too long. I feel like it could have been shorter, but I did enjoy the conversation itself, and it was just fun to see the banter between the two characters. After that, Kate's mom finds something about Jack that apparently he gets arrested. And I thought this was interesting because to me, the more I think about it, I feel like Kate's mom was up to something, and Jack is probably actually a good guy. In the first 2 episodes, I thought Jack was a bad person because it just seemed like it. It just seemed like they were setting that up, but apparently not. Like when he gets arrested, I don't know, I felt like he might have actually been a good guy. And he says that he's going to settle this and come back because there must have been a problem. And I thought that was really nice because we see him and he is pretty confident that he didn't do anything. So I don't know, I'm not 100% sure where this is gonna go. Maybe he is up to something, or maybe he is actually a good guy, and it's actually Kate's mom that's a bad person. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see to see where this goes. Anyway, after this, we see Clint kind of go through some stuff, and basically he's really upset because Yelena showed up, and he's scared because Yelena is a Black Widow, and of course, it's dangerous. It got serious really fast, and I really like how they dig deeper into his character, show him being worried and tired and just exhausted, and I love that. And then Clint goes back, and of course, the LARPer, his name was Grills, I think, or something like that, and he's there, and he's taking care of Pizza Dog. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a name, so that's why I'm just gonna call him Pizza Dog, because that's what they called him in the second episode, or the third episode, I can't remember which one. But yeah, he's taking care of the dog, and he also tells Clint that the suits are almost ready, or something like that. He mentioned something about Kate and Clint's new suits, and I'm interested to see these, because Clint has never had an actual costume. His Ronin costume, sure, but he has never had an actual costume that we've seen him wear consistently. So I'm interested to see what this is going to look like in the final episode. Hopefully it's good. I'm interested to see it. I hope I like it. And after that, Clint goes to the Avengers Memorial, and he kind of talks to himself about Natasha, talks to Natasha, and he's just kind of remembering her, and he talks about how she was the bravest and stuff. And I think that was a really nice scene. It felt really emotional. And after that, he sends a message to the Tracksuit Mafia telling Echo to meet him where she first saw Ronin. And when she goes there, there's a really cool action sequence. I think this was a great action scene. Maybe it wasn't exactly the best action scene of the series, but I thought it was really nice because it really showed us what Ronin could do. Basically, Hawkeye, he wears his Ronin costume, takes his sword, he beats up all of Echo's men, and then defeats Echo pretty much. And he tells her that he doesn't mean any harm. He tells her that we are the same. And Echo is just mad because Clint killed her father. And then he tells Echo that it wasn't actually him that killed him on purpose. It was actually her boss. Her boss told Clint when he was Ronin to kill Echo's father. So this is a big reveal. I think this is really cool, and that adds to the emotion because it was actually Echo's boss, the person she's working for, that killed her father. Echo still isn't completely bought into the idea, but she goes looking for evidence, and by the end of the episode, she talks to Kazi, and she finds some suspicious things. So I'm interested to see where this goes in the final episode as well. There's a lot of stuff that has to be explained in the final episode. I hope they can do all of it really well, and hopefully this one gets a satisfying conclusion as well. And Kate also shows up, and Kate and Clint leave using a cab for some reason. I don't know why, but they go in a cab and they leave. And after that, we see Yelena following Kate's mom wherever. I don't know where she was going, but she was going somewhere, and Yelena was following her. And Yelena texts Kate a picture or a video. I think it was a video. And we see in the video Kate's mom talking to Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. When this happened in the episode, I was just blown away. If you guys don't know, Daredevil is my favorite TV show of all time. I love this series. I've been a huge fan of it, and when it got canceled, I was obviously kind of mad because it's my favorite TV show of all time. I think every single season is great. I know a lot of people don't like the second season for some reason. I think the second season is great too. I love all three of the seasons, and the fact that the show got canceled, I was just mad about it. But now we're seeing Kingpin from that series, Vincent D'Onofrio, come back and play Kingpin in the Hawkeye series. And to me, that just blew my mind. And I'm pretty sure this was the moment that they were talking about, the people that worked on the show were talking about. This was the moment that was going to break the internet. And it probably did. I haven't been looking through social media that much because I'm avoiding spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. But it probably did. I wouldn't be surprised if right now this is all people are talking about online because it seems like it. It's just a big reveal, and I loved it. When it happened, I was in awe. I didn't talk for like a few seconds because I was just like so surprised, and I loved it so much because, again, like I said, Daredevil is my favorite TV show of all time. Kingpin is one of my favorite villains of all time, and when he showed up, I just loved it, and it was one of my favorite moments of this entire series so far. So basically, from what we know, Kate's mom is probably working with Kingpin and they're setting something up. And in the finale, there's probably going to be something big that happens. And hopefully there's like a really good big battle that happens, like a really cool action sequence. It doesn't have to be like Avengers Endgame. That's not what I'm saying. It could be something small scale, but I want it to be a really good action sequence. And I hope it closes out everything really well. Now, this could also mean that Daredevil might show up in Spider-Man No Way Home, because a week ago, Kevin Feige confirmed that Charlie Cox is going to play MCU's Daredevil. He never said he's going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. He never said which project, but I'm pretty sure, like, if he just randomly brought that up, and in this episode Kingpin showed up, there's a really high chance that Daredevil is going to show up in Spider-Man No Way Home, maybe as Peter Parker's lawyer. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And hopefully we get to see more of Kingpin in the final episode of Hawkeye. And hopefully Daredevil shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm really excited about all this stuff. And I just hope that the series ends well with a really good finale. Now, I do have some concerns and issues with this series. So far, it does seem like it has a lot of filler. I feel like this could have just been a movie and it could have had better paced or something like that. And because it just feels like there's a lot of filler episodes. Like even the third and fourth episodes, which I really enjoyed, there still feels like moments that are just kind of there to make it longer. And even in the first two episodes, which I didn't like, those also have scenes like that. And because the series is only 6 episodes long, I feel like this could have just been a movie because they don't have enough story to even fit it into 6 episodes. Now, the finale has a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of different plot lines with Echo, Hawkeye, Elena, Kate, and there's just a bunch of stuff that they have to come to a close, really well in the finale. And I'm just not sure if they are going to be able to do it because there's a lot of stuff to do. I hope they can. I hope they bring it to a really satisfying conclusion and somehow culminate it in a way that makes sense. If they do, I think this series is a win because so far, I didn't like the first 2 episodes, but everything after that I have enjoyed. And if the finale delivers, then I think this series is a positive. But if the finale isn't good, then I'm probably going to look back on this series negatively. So I really hope that the finale delivers, and I do want to see more of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. So I'm just really excited off of that right now. I think seeing Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin was just great, and that might have made this episode my favorite. But I don't know, it's still between this one and the third one, because I love these 2 episodes a lot. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th episodes of Hawkeye. If you enjoyed my review, be sure to leave a like. Let me know down below in the comments, what did you think of these episodes? I'd love to know your thoughts. And subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.